Gurudatta Shri Datta Prabhudatta. In this video, Shri Datta Swami corrects the most fundamental error made by the general public and spiritual people alike. Due to this error, most people, including many scholars, interpret the Bhagavad Gita wrongly. As a result, we misunderstand God and fail in both our worldly life and spiritual life. Swamiji not only corrects this error but also reveals the actual purpose of the most important step in the spiritual path, which is the practical step. Towards the end, Swamiji reveals one secret formula that leads a person to success in worldly life and spiritual life. Worldly Duties or Divine Service, January 6th, 2019. Shri Rishikesh asked, one of my friends said, we have to do worldly work to support our families, so we cannot dedicate ourselves totally to the work of God. I request you to please respond to his comment. Swami replied, O learned and devoted servants of God, worldly duty and renunciation in the Gita. If this point of your friend were valid, the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna in the Gita would have been as follows. Krishna would have said, O Arjuna, give up this worldly work of fighting to win back your lost property and kingdom. Become a saint and propagate my spiritual knowledge in this world. And Arjuna would have replied, how can I withdraw from this war? I need to get back the property earned by my father in order to support my family. If I completely dedicate myself to your work, would I not be doing an injustice towards my family? In fact, the real version of the Gita is the reverse. Arjuna wanted to withdraw from the war. He was fighting the war to regain his lost kingdom, so fighting the war was his worldly duty. Krishna forced Arjuna to do his worldly duty, which is essential in Pravrutti, or worldly life. Krishna never said that Arjuna should withdraw from the war and dedicate himself for doing the work of God in this world. Arjuna's wanting to withdraw from the war was not for the sake of doing spiritual work or Nivrutti. His reason for wanting to withdraw from the war was his blind love for his grandfather, teacher, and other relatives. He wanted to avoid having to kill them, even though they stood for injustice. All of them had been responsible for the injustice done on several occasions, including the attempted undressing of Draupadi in the royal court. Some, like Dushasana, were the direct doers of injustice. Some, like Duryodhana, were the indirect doers. Some, like Shakuni and Karna, were the promoters of injustice, and some, like Bhishma and Drona, were the supporters of injustice by keeping silent when they could have prevented it. Arjuna was ready to withdraw from a war that was justified. His wanting to withdraw from the war was due to his blind attachment to his elders and relatives, and not for the sake of his spiritual effort or God's work. So Krishna objected and told him to fight the war. Even if Arjuna had said that he wanted to withdraw from the war for the sake of doing spiritual work, Krishna would still have objected. If Arjuna had really wanted to withdraw from the war due to his interest in spiritual work, he could have done it before going to the battlefield. But before reaching the battlefield, he was motivated to fight. Only after reaching the battlefield, he saw all his respectable elders and beloved relatives standing together as his enemy. It kindled his blind attachment for these worldly relationships. His intellect was clouded due to the attachment, and he failed to analyze their defects. This was his reason for wanting to withdraw from the war. Service and sacrifice benefit the soul, not God. Your friend has made God out to be a helpless person requesting the help of others to do his work. As if God cannot do his own work? Why would the omnipotent God need the help of powerless human beings? Your friend's wrong thinking is the result of his ignorance of God's omnipotence. In fact, God never asks anybody to help him with his work. Even if he advises devotees to participate in his work for the propagation of spiritual knowledge in this world, it's only for their spiritual welfare. The propagation of his spiritual knowledge strengthens the concepts in the devotee's mind due to repeated revision. It leads to the reformation of the devotee propagating the knowledge. By advising certain blessed souls to participate in his work, God is only providing an opportunity for them to rise higher on the spiritual path. This progress on the spiritual path is a permanent attainment that follows the soul in every birth. On the other hand, Pravrutti is the work related to one's worldly bonds and is confined only to this birth. In fact, God never advises souls to proceed on the path of Nivrutti, which is establishing a strong personal bond with God. Nivrutti is the path discovered by the devoted souls themselves. It was not introduced by God. In fact, God discourages the path of Nivrutti by creating several difficult hurdles which serve as acid tests to prove the deservingness of the soul. The only path introduced and encouraged by God is Pravrutti. It is the path of protection of justice and rejection of injustice in worldly life. His entire focus is only on Pravrutti. He introduced worldly and heavenly benefits for following justice. To discourage sins and injustice, he also introduced punishments in this world and in the upper world. God descends into this world in the form of incarnations for the very purpose of establishing Pravrutti. In that case, how can anybody blame God for supporting Nivrutti at the cost of Pravrutti? In fact, God created this world having all the souls and gave them the commandments to strictly follow in Pravrutti. Souls are supposed to strictly follow justice and avoid injustice in their worldly life. God remained as the unimaginable domain, aloof from this world which is the imaginable domain. It is just like parents staying aloof from their grown-up children after helping them settle down in life and giving them proper instructions on leading a happy life through discipline. Had these souls followed the instructions of God and maintained the balance of society perfectly, God would never have had to visit creation. He would have been happy to simply see all the souls living happily together. This point answers the question of atheists who ask why it is even necessary for human beings to think about God in their worldly life. If souls could have lived happily, following the discipline necessary to maintain the balance of society, there would have been no need for souls to think about God. Old parents staying aloof from their grown-up children are not interested in unnecessarily visiting the homes of their children, as long as the children are leading a disciplined and happy life. When the children break the discipline and create havoc in their own lives and in society, the parents rush to their homes to set things right. They come to the homes of their children to solve the crisis created by the children and not to get free food or service from their children. Now, human parents are ignorant and they are not omnipotent either. In fact, they themselves might be in need of some financial or other help from their children. So it is possible that they might visit the homes of their grown-up children expecting some help. But God is omnipotent and does not require any help from souls either in terms of service or in terms of money. The service rendered by a devotee to God is called karma sannyasa, and his hard-earned money offered or sacrificed to God is karma phalatyaga. Both service and sacrifice of hard-earned money together are called karma yoga. Karma yoga or service and sacrifice of money are not needed by God at all. In the case that the parents are strong and healthy and are also financially well off, they need neither service nor money from their children. In spite of that, if the children serve the parents and give their money to them, it is due to the children's love for their parents. The service and the money given are the practical proof of the mental love that they have for their parents. God is like these strong and rich parents who do not need anything from their children. Unfortunately, some clever children exploit this point, saying that they do not serve their parents or give any money since the parents are rich and strong and do not need any of it. These grown-up children are missing the point. The service rendered to the parents and the money offered to them is not because of the need of the parents. It is the proof of the real love that the children have for their parents. Many people in the world also think in the same manner about God. They too must understand that the service rendered to God and the money sacrificed to Him is only the proof of one's real love for God. Your friend's comment is like that of a son who says to his poor and dependent parents living with him in his home, "If I serve you and spend my money on you, how can I look after my family towards which I am duty bound?" The comment is completely out of place for the context of God and souls. The case of God and a soul is similar to that of rich and strong parents who have been caring for and financially supporting the son and his family from the beginning. So whatever service the son renders to such rich and strong parents, and whatever money he sacrifices to them, is not because they need it. It is only the practical proof of his real love for them. Thus your friend's thinking, which is also the thinking of a lot of other people, is based on an illusion and ignorance. It is God who has been helping and supporting the devotee in all possible ways. He needs nothing from souls. The love that the devotee has for God is in his mind. It is theoretical. It cannot be seen. A person may falsely claim that he loves God. Therefore, proof becomes necessary. Service and sacrifice of one's hard-earned money to God are the practical proof of real love for God. They are called karma sannyasa and karma phalatyaga respectively, and they are the proof of the devotion. They can be said to be practical devotion. Of course, the devotee can practically prove his theoretical devotion either through service or through the sacrifice of money. Service is work done for God. It is the sacrifice of one's energy for God. Money is said to be the fruit of one's work, since we earn money in return for our work. Offering money to God is the sacrifice of the fruit of one's work to God. Service or karma sannyasa represents the sacrifice of energy. Karma phalatyaga represents the sacrifice of matter, since money stands for matter. Since both energy and matter are mutually interconvertible, service and sacrifice both constitute karma yoga. Both are equivalent, and a person can do any one or a combination of both as per one's convenience. Service is convenient for a renounced saint who does not earn or possess money. For a householder, a combination of the two is usually convenient. Since he earns and possesses money, he can sacrifice some money. In addition, he also has some spare time in which he can serve God. The extent to which a devotee should do this karma yoga is told as yatha shaktihi, yatha bhaktihi. This means that it can be done as per one's capacity and as per the depth of one's devotion. In this regard, it is very important to realize this essential truth and keep it permanently in one's mind. God never needs any service from souls. He never forces anyone to sacrifice anything for him, and he never has any intention to cheat any soul. The service and sacrifice are entirely voluntary from the side of the devotee, who is totally free to choose.